You got the email that...
All right. We are mic'd up and starting.
Okay.
All right, good morning. Welcome to the Marshall County Board of Supervisors regular session here, September 25th, 2024, 9 a.m. here in the first floor meeting room. Notice to the public, the Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You're requested to approach the podium, use a microphone. That is for recording purposes. State your name and address for the record and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given the opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chair to read the item from the agenda. The board's given an opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate and a roll call will follow. Begin with a roll call, please.
Kyle?
Yes.
Solasic?
Yes.
Hibbs?
Yes.
Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have more agendas coming.
Do we have a motion to approve today's agenda?
I would make a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Kyle?
Yes.
Solasic?
Yes.
Hibbs?
Yes.
All right, and on to the proclamations. October 2024 is Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Marshall County. Do we have anyone reading that, or is that something that the chair will read this morning?
We've got somebody.
Perfect, awesome. Come right up to the podium. Thank you for doing that. I didn't have it pulled up on my screen yet, so I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you. Am I good to just go, or?
Go right on ahead. You're good to go.
Marshall County, Iowa, Proclamation of the Board of Supervisors. Proclamation of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Marshall County. Whereas home should be a place of warmth, unconditional love, tranquility, and security, and for most of us, home and family can indeed be counted among our greatest blessings. Tragically, for many Americans, these are blessings that are tarnished by violence and fear. Whereas, according to Break the Silence, it is estimated that more than 10 million adults experience domestic violence in the U.S. each year. Whereas 1 in every 3 teenagers, 1 in every 4 women, and 1 in every 6 men will experience domestic violence during their lifetime. Whereas 1 in 4 members of the LGBT community will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. Whereas the problem of domestic violence crosses all economic, racial, gender, educational, religious, and societal barriers. Whereas women and men are not the only survivors. Children, the elderly, family, pets, and responding law enforcement officers are counted among the survivors. Whereas the United Nations has identified the home as the most dangerous place for a woman. Whereas domestic violence is the leading cause of injury to women, more than car accidents, muggings, and sexual abuse combined. Whereas according to the National Intimate Partner in Sexual Violence Survey, 42% of women in the United States reported experiencing physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime, and 49.4% reported psychological aggression by an intimate partner. Whereas every 9 seconds, a woman in the United States is assaulted by an intimate partner. Whereas women aged 16 to 24 are most likely to be victimized by an intimate partner. Whereas according to the Family Violence Prevention Fund, 15.9% of pregnant women are victims of intimate partner violence. Whereas, according to Break the Silence, 50% of female murder victims in the U.S. are killed by intimate partners. Whereas prior domestic violence in a household makes a woman 14.6 times more likely to be the victim of a domestic homicide. Whereas having 1 or more guns in the home makes a woman 7.2 times more likely to be the victim of a female domestic homicide. Whereas more than 3 and up to 10 million children witness domestic violence in their homes every year. Whereas boys who witness domestic violence are twice as likely to abuse their own partners and children when they become adults. Whereas domestic violence victims lose nearly 8 million days of paid work per year in the U.S. alone. Whereas the costs of intimate partner violence in the U.S. alone exceed $5.8 billion per year, with $4.1 billion for direct medical and healthcare services and $1.8 billion for productivity losses. Whereas survivors of violence should have access to medical and legal services, counseling, sheltering, transitional housing, and other supportive services so they can escape the cycle of abuse. Whereas we as a county encourage survivors and their families to seek assistance from appropriate survivor services organizations, including Access, Luna, and other local programs and state coalitions. Whereas the Iowa Domestic Violence Helpline is 1-800-770-1650, and the Access Crisis Hotline is 1-855-983-4641. Whereas it is important to recognize the importance of the compassion and dedication of individuals who serve survivors of domestic violence and their families, including local programs, state coalitions, national organizations, criminal and juvenile justice agencies, healthcare providers, law enforcement, allied professionals, and survivor services organizations. Whereas our community must make ending domestic violence a priority. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Marshall County Board of Supervisors proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Marshall County and urge our citizens to observe this month by becoming aware of the tragedy of domestic violence and supporting those who are working toward its end. Dated this 25th day of September 2024.
Thank you for reading that for us this morning. I think those are some sobering facts and figures in there. I think a lot of times what we do is we turn a blind eye, not necessarily a blind eye to it, but we don't want to think about it. We don't want to think that these things happen, and they do happen, and we have awesome people here in the county attorney's office that helps victims. Obviously, our law enforcement here, we have members of dispatch here, and then all those wonderful organizations out there that help out. It's just important to make note of that because people deserve safety in this country, and you read that proclamation beautifully. It's very important for us to all recognize that that's a thing. So, any other comments from the board?
I can just echo
Yeah.
kind of what you say. Extremely sobering to
Yep.
me.
So we have a whole month of October to recognize that. Think about the people who serve and help victims, and then preventative programs out there to bring better people in our society to hopefully eliminate this problem in the future.
I think it's important to support the work.
Awesome. All right. Thank you again from the attorney's office, county attorney's office, for all that they do and the proclamation read today. Which now brings us to the consent agenda. Approve claims as audited. And authorize the county auditor and recorder to issue the payment of the same. The listing of the claims paid at this meeting and all claims paid in the current month will be published as part of the first meeting of the following month. 6B, file manure management plans. Marco Pork LP, number 61016, 1131 140th Street, St. Anthony, signed with changes. Norman Pork LLC, number 59367 at 1105 Fairman Avenue, Union, signed with no changes. Some reappointments to some boards and commissions. Reappoint Gene Weimers to the Board of Adjustment, term dates January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2029. Reappoint Pat Van Onen as Marshall County Zoning Commission member, terms date January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025. Reappoint Bill Hobson as Marshall County Zoning Commission member, term dates January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026. And that is the conclusion of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
We have the motion and the second. Do we have any discussion on consent?
Well, I assume the appointments are just cleaning up. since
That's the
they
rest of the cleanup, we
go
think.
There's, I think, one more coming from VA at the next meeting, otherwise
Okay.
that should be it.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much for your work on that, Auditor's Office, on keeping us up to speed on all of our long list of commission, zoning
And
commission.
the whole, there's so many appointments.
There is, and it's, I think as we talked about on the radio on Monday, was that, with all these different commissions, committees, et cetera, that we have, it's ways for the community to get involved. So if you're ever interested in getting involved, contact the Board of Supervisors office or the Auditor's Office on ways that you can get involved if we ever do have any of these openings.
And I found a form out there that I think we should update and make.
Good.
If someone's interested. So I thought, ooh, yay, a form.
That's great.
Because we all love forms. And
Will it end up on our Marshall County website?
it's on the website.
is
That's
now.
where I found it.
Perfect.
Yeah, so if someone's interested in, being on one of your boards, then it'll go to you all and you can,
Perfect.
yeah, I thought that seemed like a great way for someone to volunteer to serve on one of your boards.
Great. All right, we have the motion and the second on the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
All right, on to number 8. Are we having, is Bobby here on?
Is it 9:15? No, we need to
So we,
skip.
so we will move on to the next item. We do have Bobby Shomo joining us via Zoom. When he is, then we'll circle back to number 8. So that brings us to number 9, receipt of actuary report, Marshall County Employee Health and Dental Plan, year ending June 30th, 2024. Discussion possible action on requirement of Iowa Code Section 509A.15 to complete and file a certificate of compliance with the Iowa Department of Commerce Insurance Division and actuarial opinion, an annual financial report, and a filing fee for the plan year ending June 30th, 2024. Do we have a motion to receive this and file?
Yeah, let's make the motion and then Maria can come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna explain that it's just an actuarial report that I have to file every year to show that the Marshall County has enough funds to cover any claims, because since we're self-funded for benefits, and that's something that we do every year, and I received the report and it looks good, so.
Thanks. Mary.
Excellent. Thank you for your work on that. And I suppose we now need a motion to accept this.
I would make a motion then to accept the State of Iowa 509A Certificate of Compliance Actuary Report and direct the county auditor and recorder to file with the Iowa Department of Commerce Insurance Division.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have the motion and the second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
All right, that leads us to number 10, discussion and possible action, holiday decorations for the courthouse lawn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, it's a
Such a fun
pleasure.
topic.
It is a fun topic. We had a great discussion last year. Lucas is still wearing the scar from it from last year. Actually, Lucas is absolutely great to work with. I've got to work with him a few times from the band shell, things on the courthouse lawn. He communicates with me really well, so I appreciate it. And I feel like I can rib him a little bit, so I apologize, Lucas, that I'm doing it in public. I don't think I introduced myself, but I'm Deb Millizer. I'm the director of the Marshalltown Central Business District, and I came today to talk to you about reviving our holiday tradition of lighting up the courthouse lawn. Previous to the 2018 tornado, our courthouse lawn was beautiful. I have a picture of prior to the courthouse, the tornado, as the top picture. You can see our courthouse is very majestic and beautiful, and there's other pictures on there too, but I think our courthouse is the grandest, and I might be a little biased, but I also think it's the grandest. So this tradition of lighting up the courthouse during the holiday stroll, it would be that Santa Claus would come down the lit parade, and then he would get off of his horse-drawn carriage and do his ho, 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 and talk to the kids and make his way over, and then he would flip a switch and all the beautiful lights would turn on in the courthouse lawn, and then the tornado came through and things got damaged, and we had other things that that everybody had to concentrate on, that everybody had to work on. And then the Marshalltown Central Business District worked with the Fraternal Order of Police to decorate the fence that protected all the work that was going on. We decorated that the last couple of years. We were honored to be able to put the large lit tree on the courthouse lawn with the help of Top Notch. But I think now we're is it 6 years now? 6 years past the tornado? I feel like it's time that we go back to being grand, and that our community deserves this beacon of resilience. It brings the community together. A beautifully decorated courthouse lawn is the centerpiece. It's the jewel of the downtown. It adds to the element of festivity, togetherness, traditions. There's just so many. It boosts the economy. When we have the holiday stroll and other events like that, or just shopping in general during the holiday season, it's nice to come down and enjoy the festivities of the decor, the lighting, and all of that. It really enhances our civic pride in our community. Before I was ever in this role as the executive director, I can remember looking forward to seeing the beautiful lights on the courthouse lawn and rolling by with all the trees all lit up, and just how special that felt. So I would like to talk about that again and see if that is something that the Board of Supervisors feels that it's time to revive. I'm kind of approaching as a grander scheme. I would like to, we have some beautiful examples up here of other courthouses. We have Albia up there, very nicely decorated. Then there's Bloomfield, very beautiful, lovely. Probably everybody's heard about Oskaloosa and how their whole courthouse is covered with lights. And then Newton also has some beautiful white lights that come off of their spire. I would like to see us go back to how we were before, or similar to before, but I also think with a 5-year plan, we could make it grow even more, and we could make this a destination for other communities to drive to see our beautiful courthouse lawn. So that's my grander vision. I can see beautiful decorated bulbs and archways and all of that, but that takes time. It takes finances, it takes planning, but we need to start somewhere. And so today I'd like to discuss the start of the somewhere, to see what the Board of Supervisors would like to do, or they think about that. And I'd also like to throw in there as a possibility, because this is a discussion, we have the wonderful memorial, Veterans Memorial, that is going to be on the courthouse lawn. There has been discussion within the community of understanding that the county represents more than Marshalltown. I understand all of that, but it is in the heart of Marshalltown. We have had discussions about proclaiming Marshalltown the Veterans Capital of Iowa. We've talked about red, white, and blue. I think that our identity in this community does tie a lot to our veterans. So I would also suggest, or I'm just throwing out a thought in this decor, that we could build in maybe a little bit of that in there as well to honor our nation, our veterans, and I think that might make us elevate us even more as a destination place to be. So those are my initial thoughts.
Do you have any specific ideas with this grand plan and what type of funding you're thinking this would be? And are we talking something this year, or are we talking about building it out for future years so we can help plan for this?
So it does take some time, and lighting alone is expensive. So I would suggest that we create a team. I know that you have some creative people within the county, and I could bring some more people to the table, and we could work on what the grand scheme would be. Those large ornaments that sit on a lawn, or archways, those are $4,000 to $7,000 right there. I think that is a lot to ask this first year, but I think if we had an overall, this is what we're going for, and we started planning it, we could get there over 5 years. I would like to see at this point if we were able to light up the courthouse. And I don't think it's up to me to decide what that looks like. You could shine lights up the sides of the courthouse. That might be inexpensive. There's lots of different ways to do that. So I don't know what budget is available, so I did not go that far. I did price some different pieces just because I wanted to do those for the community as well. So we're talking over time, it's probably going to be, I would say, maybe over 5 years, I would say it's probably like $25,000 to $30,000 to do everything, to make it super grand.
And then for this year, just go with what the plan is now. Is there anything addition for this coming holiday stroll?
I have not made any plans for lighting up the courthouse lawn for this holiday stroll. I wanted to start the discussion here. I'm going to pick on Lucas a little bit more. You know, Lucas and his team, I'm assuming, are the ones that would be in charge of decorating and making things look nice. And I know that he has put a lot of, I know a lot of people have, but I know Lucas has really concentrated on making this courthouse, putting the pieces together to make it as beautiful as it is now and on all the working elements of it. And I believe his team would probably be responsible for putting up decor. I could also offer him some volunteers. So I don't have the plan, but I would like to start talking about creating a plan.
Well, I like the idea of, you know, decorating the courthouse square and making it a destination for not only people in the county, but others as well. I would like to see, even for this year, what the plan is prior to, you know, moving forward with it, just to have an idea of where we're going with it and what it might look like ahead of time. So.
I would agree with that. What I would like to ask is if there could be a team of people assembled, because I don't feel like myself have the power to come up with the plan, that I feel like it needs to be more people coming together to do that.
Would you be offended if we took a pit stop on this item and went back to our previous item because we
He's
have,
got to call in. He's not able to connect to the meeting.
he's not able to, so we will continue
calling right
conversing for, no, we can continue conversing
Okay.
until we have,
Okay.
It's our insurance.
Oh, Bobby?
yes.
He can wait.
No,
If not, it's probably going to be on my cell phone.
okay.
Is that?
Well, I think having a planning committee working together on it and,
And then bringing that plan to the supervisors.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course, bring it here, or maybe even have one of us board members a part of that. That's a possibility as well. To, you know, make sure, it's fitting the vision that we have for the grounds. And at the same time, obviously, budgetary constraints can come into that, but I do like this idea. I like it being grand. I like Christmas, so, I think this is awesome, especially coming off tornado derecho and all that to, really make this pop and make it, I like it, a destination. We do have a courthouse that's on the National Historic Registry, so let's take full advantage of that and, get the word out that we have a great place here to come see over Christmas. So, I like this idea.
Do you like Christmas, Steve?
I like Christmas. I'm 100% for this. I miss the lights too from 6 years ago when we had it on the courthouse. We have Bobby now?
We have Bobby.
Okay.
I will
You
let
do
You
him.
have Bobby now.
All right. And if we need to reconvene to finish anything up on that particular item, we can after we conclude our discussion of possible action on EMC insurance renewal. And we have Bobby Shomo on. Take it away.
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
I'm sorry I'm up in Green Bay this morning. I wish I could be with you guys. But I appreciate the efforts from Nan and her team, as well as some special efforts from Lucas and James to get us in a position to meet the demands of this extremely hard renewal and the insurance market. Just to recap, there have been at least 5 carriers that have chosen to leave the state of Iowa on the personal line side. Another carrier on the commercial line side as it relates to municipalities, driven primarily by convective storms, tornadoes, straight line winds, hail, making it really hard for carriers to secure an underwriting profit for the last 4 or 5 years. Probably not known to you guys, in 2020, 21, 22, and 23, only 2 states in the nation lost insurance money all 4 years. And you'd think California and Florida, and it was actually Iowa and Minnesota. So we set out with a goal to try to come back to renewal to you under the 20%. We accomplished that. I'm not extremely happy with it, but we got pretty good terms at a decent price for the market we're in now. Some of the lines, Marshall County is driving the rate increase. Business auto, we still have a 65% pure loss ratio over 5 years. And about 50% is actually profitable for the insurance companies. We're getting better with our business auto losses. I'm hoping this is a better number next year. But we're still slightly unprofitable there. You know we're unprofitable on the property line. From both the tornado and the derecho, E&P will never get whole on that, but certainly the large claims we've had in the past have driven the property line. And then linebacker, we're carrying about 106% loss ratio, which is extremely unprofitable. So those lines, Marshall County, we've gotten ourselves where we are for where we're at right now. And then there's some other lines being driven by the culture and the environment. The umbrella line, the linebacker line, and the law enforcement line are being driven by very, very large lawsuits and settlements. New to our industry is what we call nuclear verdicts, and we're now tracking jury verdicts in excess of $10 million and mega nuclear verdicts, jury verdicts in excess of $100 million. So the environment still is pretty rough. We were able to come back in a little under 19% on the renewal. That includes a 19-point increase in our work comp mod. Courthouse deductible raised to a 2% wind-held deductible. We were able to find good deductible buy-down options to buy that back down to a $10,000 number. And it gets us to where we are with this renewal.
Bobby, we've lost you, I believe. All right.
I hope not.
You're sort of there and sort of back.
I'm
There,
sorry.
you're good now.
Okay, I'll take it off speaker and.
Well,
Modern technology, isn't it great?
well, we did get a pretty much thorough
Through all the
explanation
lines.
of it all that we got through there.
Yep, the bottom 3 there, the umbrella linebacker and law enforcement isn't us, it's everyone's. It's not,
Societal.
it's societal, yes. So that one, when he explained it, it's just the way of the world. There's so many things that are hitting us, it's not just us. And I did said that spreadsheet because I was just curious what our percentages were line by line. We actually ended up better on the work comp than I thought, even with our mod rate doing it. And I do think it's because of our safety meetings and kind of what we're, continuing to try to do. So I think that is still helping us. The cyber, we had a pretty good deal. James has worked it hard, but we just got the information a week ago. So that's still a little bit up in the air.
Well, it's incredible, the cyber liability, you'd think would be the cost would be going up in, and
Well,
something we cut in half.
it's a new company, and they're trying to get in. So
Good.
that's kind of, we got lucky. So that's really why we got that. If we stayed with the same company, it went to 27,000.
Okay.
So it did exactly what you thought it would do.
Makes sense.
Is that the comparison? Yeah, I didn't print it out. I looked at it, but I didn't print it out. Do we know, maybe Bobby knows what, I like this because we can see what our increases have been and what our overall?
I like
increase?
the numbers.
Do we know what they are, like, in our region? Like, in Iowa and Minnesota, where,
I know.
we're the problem states? What
He didn't-
what are other counties experiencing? Are we in line or are we an outlier?
I
Do we know?
didn't hear any, I didn't hear any
Okay.
comparisons.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Ooh,
we can now.
Zach.
Ken?
Yeah, yeah, I also do Jasper County. I do Jasper County with ICAP, not EMC, and our increase was also in about the 20% range. So, yeah, I think you're where the market is right now. I think the changing factors that the insurance carriers have put in place are starting to work, and I hope to see some relief in next year's renewal, especially on the property and the auto lines. So I think they're starting to get it together.
Okay.
I could put something out on Base Camp and just see what other counties are experiencing.
I think it's just helpful to know where we are in the
Absolutely.
grand scheme of things with the market and increases and
Sure.
percentage.
Just even,
increases.
to share that, our overall is 18.82, where did everyone else end up?
Yeah.
And
Is it from the same areas, is it from property, is it from the areas that we're
And then
experiencing?
I would make sure when you look for the comparisons, they gotta be counties that have as much property value as you guys have.
Right, yes, that's
Because-
true.
Because the property line is really driving rate increases right
Sure,
now.
absolutely, because we do have we have a large property value.
Yeah, but we can look at the percentage increases. So, yeah.
I visited with a business owner on Main Street yesterday, and he was lamenting the same thing. Insurance has just gotten crippling for them. And I know what it's done on the farm also. The farm has gone up almost these same percentages, so.
Our church has too, and we had a small claim. Real small.
And then they want to be aware of the inspection by Valuation Northwest on the courthouse. The recently completed inspection was also a prerequisite by EMC for the renewal. And then aware of the two buildings that EMC is not willing to offer an insurance renewal on, the cabin.
And it's a barn out at
Klomberg Farm.
Klomberg Farm. So Michelle was going to go out and take some pictures and work on getting a bid for that. And it'll be similar to kind of what we have on the deductible buy down. Down here, it'll be a couple more line items. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Emily Herring, I'm the Director of Marshall County Conservation. I actually reached out to the Historical Society here in Marshalltown because obviously they have multiple structures that they have to insure, and they gave me some contact information for insurance companies that they use that they don't have any problems with covering their facilities. So if that's information that Bobby needs or who Michelle needs whatsoever. I think in the end, my concern is that the structures are actually insured as historical properties, not just as a structure, because it's not, obviously not in the best of shape, and I'm more worried about the log cabin than I am the barn. But it is a historical building, and so I'm concerned that they're going to say, well, no one's going to want to buy this. This isn't insurable because it doesn't have a value, and that's not necessarily accurate. So just want to make sure the due diligence is done on that, and it's insured for a proper amount.
Well, and if you've got some options, yeah, I'm sure Michelle would be very interested in that. That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Bobby while he's still on, if he is still on? Or any closing comments from Bobby?
I think Dana did a really good job.
Well, you're not really clear, Bobby, to catch all what you said there, so thank you for that thorough instruction. Thank you for the layout of everything in that premium comparison form for us. That's very helpful for us. And if we do not have any further questions or comments, I'll be ready for a motion to approve or accept the renewal.
I'll make a motion to approve the EMC insurance renewal from Shomo Madsen effective October 1st and authorize, of 2024, and authorize the chair to sign.
I'll second.
All right, we have the motion and second. Do we have any other further discussion, comments, questions on this? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Hibbs.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you, Bobby, for being on if you can even hear me.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, he was there.
Great. And then we can continue at item 10 if there was anything further to discuss. I don't think there was necessarily any action we need to do today. But is there any further discussion on the holiday decorations for courthouse? Was there anything else, Deb, that you did not get to share with us you wanted to? We'll need you for recording.
Sorry.
That's all right.
So I guess I'd like some direction or who would like to participate in pulling together a committee to do some research to figure out what we could do on the courthouse lawn, what that budget would look like, so we could come up with a plan. I don't like adding things to people's workloads, but I think this would be a fun project. And I think that we're going to need creative minds, and we're going to need people that are technical as well of what can be possible to be put on the courthouse lawn. And April, I'm putting you out here publicly, April. April, who is our newest, I guess my newest roommate at the building, because I don't work for the chamber, but she works for the chamber, but we're in the same building, so sometimes I forget how to word that we cohabitate. We partner. She has an extensive background in decor and flowers and decorating, so April volunteered that she would be on this committee. I believe Alicia Fitzgerald, who is one of the owners of Staging to Sell It, who is also on my board, I think that she would be a key person to be there. And then as far as on the county side, I think we need 2 or 3 people from you as well to help move that direction.
Yes. Yeah, I think if we can target
I think
2 or 3.
Lucas is shaking his head yes.
Look at,
He would love to help,
He's just
yes.
jumping up there. Did you
Lucas
wave
told me
it?
he loves Christmas. He does love
Oh,
Christmas.
he loves it. He does.
He does love Christmas. So.
Lucas, maybe one of a board member and another employee that would be interested as well, I think would be a good mix.
Okay, so would you like for me to follow up with an email?
Yes.
Okay, I will
That'd
do
be
that.
wonderful.
Okay. One more thing before I'm down.
Yes.
I'd also like to extend, and I realized the other day that I had never done this before. We are coming up on our 4th annual Haunt the Block in downtown Marshalltown, and our downtown is flooded with families and costumes. I mean, who doesn't love an excited kid walking around getting candy? I wanted to invite the county employees to participate in that as well. We will have our first responder block right out in front of the courthouse as well. I think you guys have a lot of fun coming down. Kim comes down, Rhonda comes down. So it just occurred to me the other day that I had never extended that invitation, and it wasn't because I didn't want you to involved. I think it just went over my head. So if you would like to be involved with that too, we would love to have you.
Yes, send us information on that
Okay.
as well. And I remember last year trying to get across to my kids to basketball practice at the Coliseum, and I was freaked out going through. I mean, it was kids in costumes, and it was great event that you do. So thanks for thinking of us.
Okay.
Any other discussion on holiday decorations? Well, it's going to be grand.
It will.
All right, on to number 11, discussion, possible action, closure of Horseshoe parking lot from September 28th, 29th for a Oktoberfest vendor loading and unloading zone.
So my understanding is this is Saturday and Sunday, right? So
Yep.
And it did.
should not affect operation of the courthouse.
And it did really sound loading and unloading. I don't think it would be blocked the whole time if I'm understanding it correctly.
Lucas, do you have thoughts? Joel? Yeah.
Before we get really into the discussion part of this, we will offer our signage to be out in the parking lot, to put a message up there. It is tied up until Friday after, excuse me, after about 8 o'clock, but after that, we can bring it up and put some signage with a message on it if it would help vendors be able to know where to go for parking and unloading. So whatever I just want to make sure that was offered to the supervisors.
Thank you.
I think I expressed this in an email. My only concern is that with the streets being closed, there is minimal accessible parking downtown. And with the courthouse being close to the majority of the happenings downtown, we do have some handicap accessible spots that I would hate to tie up. I guess that's my input. I don't know, I don't see why we need to necessarily close the parking lot. We can just say, go ahead and use it. I don't know what that looks like. I know in the past they've parked kind of like supply trailers and stuff there, but I don't see why that has to take up the entire lot. I mean, there's a fair amount of room there. But my 2 cents.
Because they're set up in this area over here, correct?
Yeah, they're down Center Street, and then there's some across Main Street as well, I believe.
And we're not talking about keeping their trailers and their vehicles in the horseshoe parking
No,
lot.
they'd go to the
Just-
city
They have
lot.
done that in the past.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's not what the
Well, that
goal
could
is here.
happen.
They said they're not. They said they would
Okay.
take them to the city lot. It is just a loading and unloading zone,
Okay.
as long as
So I
they
guess I don't.
do that.
I mean, if they want to go and put up some cones in a few spots to do that, I mean,
I wondered if, maybe this section here,
yeah,
if we had some ropes, cones, something.
something, yeah. I mean, I have a bunch of cones. I mean, half
And
of
then
them will
everything
probably be
else
gone by the
left.
time the event's over, but
Yeah.
I could put them out.
Yeah.
We've got, if you want more handicap, we've also, we've got that for elections. We can put some more handicap.
Oh, some
too.
temporary handicap signs too. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's a good idea. Trying to get any handicap
Yeah.
parking downtown is difficult
And
during
that's,
October.
yeah, because, I mean, just with, Main Street there on the block and then First Ave being closed, I mean, there's 5 handicap spots that we're eliminating just by the downtown streets being closed, so. And then there's 3 in the annex lot. I mean, there's,
We lose some in there.
we have to be respectful for that, I think.
Yep.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, I
So-
can
That-
work with Nan, we'll get
the
a few
west
temporary
part of
signs,
that,
we'll
yeah.
pop them in, and then I'll set out some cones there. I'm typically in town pretty early on Saturday, because I help with the 5K, 10K, so I can pop those out Saturday morning first thing.
Great, thank you. And
Yeah, that'd be great.
that's,
I think that's a good, because when you mentioned that, and I just thought, we are losing a lot there.
yeah. And if Robert, you can help in any way, get it out that we'll have some additional handicap parking available, that'd be awesome, just because I think a lot of people don't know where to park. I mean, it's just kind of, it's crazy on that day where people are, especially we get close to that parade time. So people know that there's some handicap accessible parking
There's a
here.
big grade change from Church Street to Main Street.
Yep.
I mean, it's substantial, so. Thank you.
Jim Elder, Emergency Management. We were asked as a CERT team and EMA, and I was going to talk to Lucas, but I thought I might as well bring it up now, to set up a first aid tent to the southeast of the courthouse. So it'd be in that little X marks the spot there. So possibly, and I'll talk to Lucas too, back my trailer in. It's just a short trailer with the supplies for that into that corner there on the parking lot, so it'd be right here at the corner. But yeah, I think
Up top here, or?
Were you talking down like
Yeah.
here or from
South.
the?
up above, yep, right there. Yep, we're gonna set up, what's that?
That's where the handicap spots are?
Oh, yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask you, so we need to park a trailer there, so you can get with me after this and tell me where to park it. We were supposed to pull in to the wide, where the shuffleboard used to be. We were supposed to pull in there, but the carnival already has that kind of blocked off, and I don't want to run across the grass. So the second spot was that X marks the spot there for first aid. So, yeah, we can get together afterwards, but I just kind of wanted to, since you're bringing out cones and stuff, we'll get together and figure out
Sounds good.
where to park. So, okay.
All right, any other further discussion? I don't think we need a vote on.
I will, yeah, I'll communicate with the committee and let them know.
Thank you. Awesome, thanks everybody on that and working together. Number 12, discussion, possible action, recognition of Lyle Jensen.
Lyle is the gentleman that headed up the trees and the shrubs that were going to be replaced from the tornado derecho. We thought it would be nice to recognize Lyle in some way. It was brought up to me that there was discussion that maybe a bench would be a possibility. We had talked about a certificate of some kind, so I'm open. I'd like to see us do something if we could.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that the weekend of the 4th, 5th, and 6th of October, the class of 1969, which they kind of spearheaded this, and Lyle was the one driving it.
Yes.
And I think these facts and figures here for the community of Marshtown following the storms, a total of 796 trees, 778 shrubs and perennials. Total raised $127,500 worth of trees and shrubs for our community, and that's
phenomenal.
It is. It's amazing work, and Lyle did a ton of work on that, and so.
And Lyle doesn't live here.
No.
He's doing this from,
He's out of state, right?
no, he's south of Des Moines.
Oh, all right. So yeah, to have a former Marshtown Bobcat member doing that is a really cool thing. So at a minimum, I know we're thinking of getting a certificate signed from the Board of Supervisors appreciation of service in restoration of our community, and getting that presented to them at their class reunion here in a week. So at a minimum that, and then we don't necessarily have to decide today if we're not prepared, but maybe some type of plaque or bench or something like that with honoring him for the driving of this in class of 1969.
Okay. Let's continue on that then.
We'll figure out how to come up with a certificate
Okay.
that we'll all have signed by next
At
weekend.
least if we can do the certificate before the
Absolutely.
5th.
Yep,
Yeah.
And I'm planning on attending.
great. Well, board representation there at class of
Absolutely.
69's reunion. That's great.
All right.
Awesome. Any other further discussion, questions?
No, I mean, I guess my question would be, how do you want to proceed on the other requests for recognition on an existing bench or a new bench, or what do you think?
Lucas, help us on that.
We do have some benches that are memorials or have some sort of customization to them. Not all of our benches are that way, so adding a plaque to something is feasible. I will say that the space on them is very small. We do have some customized memorial benches that Central Iowa Machine has done, but they get a little pricey. I think the last one we had was between $800 and $900, which is not a small amount of money for, and I don't know, I know there's some emails back and forth on this. I'm not sure where those funds come from, so I guess that would be my question as well.
Yeah, I think if it's a new installation, it would be something that they would raise some money for. Am I thinking about that correctly?
That they would pay
Yeah.
for, you mean?
Yeah, the requesting group.
You know what? I'll make sure it's taken care of, okay? Whatever the cost is on that, I'll make sure it's taken care of.
Yeah, however that's handled, I don't much care, I guess. I was just trying to clarify that.
So getting
okay.
like a plaque added to a bench, do we have
Well,
any
yeah,
idea what
if
that?
it's
mean,
added
that's that
to
900 amount,
existing,
or is that
then I
No,
don't think
no,
that's a problem.
it'd be a whole new bench where kind of the center of it, if you go and look out front, kind of the benches around Henry there have some customization on them, and then the one kind of up closest to the building on the east side, that first one there is the most recent that we have had, and that's where I'm drawing my numbers from, I think, if I remember correctly.
So what is your suggestion? That we do a plaque on what's existing, or?
If you did a plaque
brand
on
new?
what's existing, I mean, what is there? I mean, we're talking like 1.5 by like 3 inches. I mean, they're just little
It'd be a little
slats on the
plate.
benches. Like
Little
it's
plate.
very, very small. If you were looking to,
But if we did a new bench, we could do more than that, and we'd have a larger area to work with.
yes, yeah, it's like kind of a circle in the middle that's probably 16 inches or so. And a lot of times there's like a silhouette of the courthouse on it, and then you could do some, like an arch across the top of the circle for some customization.
Maybe you want to talk with the class of 69 representative that reached out to us, see what they would think would be good, if just doing something small or a whole new bench, and then we can proceed from there.
All right.
The little plaque would be, I mean, cheap.
Yeah, that would be inexpensive
Yeah.
to.
Again, I'll make sure it's taken care of, so,
Sounds good. Just let me know how you want to handle it.
all right.
Great. Thank you, Lucas, and again, thanks to Lyle for all that work. What a,
Absolutely.
you know, those are the things that just have to be done following a storm, and a lot of people take that for granted or don't even realize that there's groups like this that are involved in that. So
And we did have some donations too following the storm, so
yeah,
there were some funds that way too, so.
Okay.
all right. Any other further comment on that? On to number 13, approve an agreement with Snyder and Associates Incorporated of Ankeny for Marshall Ridge Farms Traffic Impact Study and Iowa Department of Transportation RISE Immediate Opportunity Project Funding Application. Paul, did you make it on today?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I can just speak to what this is, but this is the traffic impact study is required by the DOT, and we were directed to get the study by Stu Anderson, who's the director of the Transportation Development Division of the DOT. But it's because I guess what I can do is I can just read the scope of services. It's just a paragraph, if that would help everybody understand what we're doing better. But it would be, Snyder and Associates would conduct a traffic impact study for Marshall County / Marshall Ridge Farms LLC, located south of US 30 between Benford Avenue and Canfield Avenue in Marshall County. The dairy farms expanding operations with additional trips utilizing the intersections with US Highway 30. The study will provide traffic and safety analysis of existing intersections and recommendations for functional intersection geometry and traffic control improvements for the existing intersections with US 30. The analysis report will follow the guidelines for traffic impact analysis by the DOT dated January of 2024 for eventual submission and approval by Iowa DOT and Marshall County. So the real key is they're doing the traffic impact study using the layout that's required by the DOT. And Snyder is the same consultant that did the traffic impact study for the Boone side of this project. It's all because of the Daisy expansion that is in the process of going on over there at Boone. And it's I haven't seen the exact numbers, but what I have heard is that the Marshall Ridge Farms will essentially double its capacity or its production of milk. And this information this agreement also involves doing the RISE application and assisting, getting that turned in. And I'm not sure what the RISE, what the count is. If we're looking at the immediate opportunity grant, and that one, the funding is based on jobs created. And currently, I think the estimate of the improvement is like 1.4 million to get that hard surface back to the dairy, and it would be also intersection improvements at Benford. But this study will evaluate Benford and Canfield, and it will make recommendations on, do we need right turn lanes, do we need expanded left turn lanes? And it would be, anytime there's any modifications or recommendations to modification on the primary system, they require this traffic impact study.
Paul, is it, I understand the Canfield and the Benford intersection, they're the most relevant and immediate, but Durham, James, can you back out a little bit? Durham, where he goes south of Casey's there, if they're doing haylage, there is a lot of traffic on Durham, and it gets a little bit dangerous with that intersection there. Is there a way to expand this so that we could have numbers for what's happening at Durham too? Or not? This has to be just right around the dairy itself?
I don't know if it would be eligible for the rise, but I do know that Durham intersection is currently, we're applying to get that with other safety funds to basically have a complete geometric reconfiguration of that intersection.
Oh, okay.
Because there's an alarming accident history and the number of close calls that, with State Center having video on that intersection, it's scary, some of the things that I've seen on video on that intersection.
Okay.
It's the traffic impact study, though, I don't think they'll be doing any silage or haylage when they're doing the traffic, so they won't have that information, but
Well,
that's something that when they double their head at
Right.
the dairy, it's
It'll
gonna get
impact
wider,
that.
deeper on the haylage and silage.
right.
So, yeah, and it's another reason why that I also believe that getting this study done is gonna be valuable for us. Even if we aren't awarded the RISE grant to do everything we need to do, it is still information that will help us, ask the DOT for the improvements on Highway 30. And it would support our request.
Right.
And also give us the information on what we need to do with the traffic levels that are gonna be on Canfield and Benford.
Okay. Thank you.
This agreement has a not to exceed amount of $29,000. And this is within my budget for consultant engineer services.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you for that information, Paul. Any further questions for Paul on this item? All right, I'll entertain motions to approve the agreement with Schneider and Associates.
I'd make a motion to approve an agreement with Snyder and Associates Incorporated of Ankeny for Marshall Ridge Farms Traffic Impact Study and Iowa DOT RISE Immediate Opportunity Project Funding Application.
I'll second that.
We have the motion and the second. Do we have any further discussion, questions, comments? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Solosik,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
All right. Number 14, approval of general safety manual and fleet safety manual for Marshall County effective September 25th, today, 2024.
Being on the safety committee, I know that there's been a lot of work put into this, and we've taken it relatively seriously. We have a little fun once in a while in our safety committees,
As long
but
as someone brings donuts.
it's a donut thing, yeah. But yes, I'm happy to see this come to fruition here.
We've enjoyed having Bruce on the committee, too.
Yes, yes, we have.
Well, today we've liked Christmas, we like donuts. We
Yes.
like safety.
Absolutely.
So, yes. So we've got the fleet safety as well as the safety manual. There is a form also that we did not include, so that gives secondary roads, they can change the form as they see fit so that they can use it. We didn't see that the form needed to be along with the policy as well.
Yep.
That way, if we need to add this, or we need to remove this, we didn't think that needed board approval. So, yeah.
So Is this, I see it's revised September 2024. When was the last time?
It was 2019.
Okay.
We removed, there was a lot of language, and I would say it was similar to like having a union, similar when I worked at Emerson. It was that type of a union, different from our unions that are here. And there are things like if you bump,
Just
Yeah.
not relevant anymore?
not relevant here for how our unions were. So we removed a lot of that language and really utilized it to how we were doing things. The day we approved it in 2019, I was at the sheriff's office and I happened to run into Ben and he goes, "Oh, well, that'll never happen." I mean, the very day it was approved, and it was something about an accident. It was under $3,000, and so it was like, okay, well, I put a little sticky note on that page, and so that, you know, that always makes you feel good when you know that something is wrong immediately. So it, you know, we tried to really get it how we're really using it. So, and shortened it a lot, which is always good, and made it hopefully readable enough that maybe people will read it. People love safety, you know.
Well, if Bobby was still on, I'd say would this qualify for us reducing our workman's comp a little bit of that insurance we just?
Actually, this is really what helped us,
Yeah.
is
It already
because
has.
we've
Yep.
been beating this and trying to get this through.
Good.
And so I'd say our mod rate might have went up more.
How do we get this in the hands of employees, or at least in front of them, so that we can say our employees have access to this?
We actually do give it to them when they're hired.
And they sign off on that?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And I don't know that they read
That was really my question.
Yeah.
Do they sign off that they've received it?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know how people read something like that.
Well,
I know.
that's not, yeah. We just need to demonstrate that we have made the information available to them.
It is also on our intranet on the homepage, so that is available. We do also have, of course, if somebody has an accident, we want that also posted. So there's several things we're going to do as far as having things a lot more, you know, where are our fire extinguishers here for like the folks, like Sarah. Does Sarah know where the fire extinguishers are? You know,
Right.
I'm real sure that the folks out at Joel's location know where the fire extinguishers are, but I'm not as sure that Sarah does. You know, those kind of people.
Well, and I think the ongoing refresher training is important.
It's important. Our annual training is a big deal.
So as long as we can demonstrate we're providing that and updating employees, I think that is our responsibility.
It is, for
So,
sure.
Good work, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good, it was
Yeah.
a lot.
I bet. I
But
bet.
appreciate that, yeah.
Yes, well done, everyone participating in that. We appreciate that, because updating policies, handbooks, those kind of things are never fun. They usually always get an easy thing to kick down the road, so it's good to get this done and stay on top of it, so thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Jeannie worked hard on it as well, and, you know, we both hated it. You know, there's no other way to say it, you
Yep.
know.
That is what it is.
It is, exactly. You said it very well there. It is what it is.
All right. Do we have a motion yet on that? I don't think so.
No, we don't.
I'll make a motion that we approve the General Safety Manual and Fleet Safety Manual for Marshall County effective September 25th, 2024, as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have the motion and the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Heil,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Hibbs.
Yes.
All right, number 15, public forum, time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on the agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics today brought up in public forum. Public forum, come up to the podium, please.
Joel Phillips, Sheriff Marshall County. Just so we talked about Christmas, donuts, I want to throw some coffee in. Invite everyone to Donuts with a Deputy. It's being held October 2nd at Hy-Vee here in Marshalltown. on South Center Street from 7 to 10 p.m., or 10 a.m., and depends how much coffee we have. But it's going to be a good time to engage with the public, and so they can ask questions, and we can understand what their values and needs are, and just to have that casual conversation with community members, leaders, and officers. We'll have jail staff available. I think we're going to have an appearance by our canine handlers, and just sit down and have those conversations for community engagement. I think it's really important to have those conversations. So invite everyone.
Thanks for doing that. Any other public comment today?
I have been working with April McKibben on meeting some of the community members in some of our smaller communities here in Marshall County, and extremely well received. And they're planning on working with her in any way they possibly can. So if we can get her in front of all of the mayors and community leaders of all the communities in Marshall County, that would be that'd be a great thing. So
Ferguson.
we did Ferguson and LeGrand.
Great.
Yeah.
Good start.
Yes. Yeah. She's done a lot of research already, and she knew a lot about these communities, but we just kind of got her the next level up on how to deal with these, or how to help these communities. So,
That's great.
All right, any other comment today? That takes us to adjournment. The next regular session is Wednesday, October 9th, 2024 at 9 a.m. at the courthouse, first floor meeting room, 1 East Main Street. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the Auditor and Recorder's Office or the Board of Supervisors' Office by Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024 at noon. We do also have a special session tomorrow for a hire for our sheriff's office. And so that'll be tomorrow, just for public notice. And then with there being no further business come before the board, the meeting is adjourned at 10:06 a.m. Make it a great day.
For our policies. We've worked for that so long.